So now, let's go back. Let's go to number one, YK. That part of be respectful, humble, and easy to forgive. What does that mean exactly?
Easy to forgive.
When you say easy to forgive, so that means you're going to be offending a lot. For me to forgive you.
You see how this man's list makes it hard to just completely embrace him? Is that at the end of everything, he puts something that's a red flag for me.
Easy to forgive.
So respectful, humble is fine. Easy to forgive. Already, I'm like, what are you hoping to do?
Are you a serial offender?
Exactly. I don't think anyone goes into a relationship and easy to forgive. Hopefully, you're not going to put her in a position where she has to forgive. And then if she's not easy to if she does not easily forgive, what would then happen? Will she now just carry whether she likes it or not?
He says you must be able to make a little daily prayer. Is that unreasonable?
No, it's not unreasonable.
That's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But let me go back to what Nima said earlier. You see, when a woman doesn't pray for you, see, when a woman loves you, it's easy to be humble. It's easy to be respectful. It's easy to pray. You won't even ask for prayer.
You don't have to ask.
Because when you have done your part as a man to love wholesomely and wholeheartedly, where she feels it and is exuding from everything you do, you won't have to be kneeling every day because it's easy. So you have a part to play first before your list materializes in a woman.
But we
That's
don't know
crucial.
him.
Yeah, so he must be really...
So his own part is to have small change, because people have told him that he should get married. It shouldn't be for 2024, it should be for 2025. Because the way he be like,
2027.
You know, be like, person,
please, no, let poor people breathe. Poor people are allowed to have standards and specs as well. Nobody put a gun to your head, and he's not forcing you, but he's saying this is it. And somebody's looking at this list and saying, easily, I'm the wife for this man. And if she's looking at him and she thinks it's a speck, look at his beard, look at his whatever. We don't have a car now, but we'll have a car. Or there are some people that say, I have a car. I will not trek, but I have a car so that we don't need to trek.
So you can marry him.
I'm already married.
If you are not married.
What I don't agree is that, as Morayo said, a lot of the requirements on this list are naturally easy for a woman to do. But the way you are listing it, the problem I have with him is that for him to list it, is that he's not looking for a woman that loves caters. He's adding something. That addition is where your punishment lies. That's easy to forgive. Of course, a woman who is in love will be respectful, humble, should be giving, should be forgiving. But to ask that easy to forgive, that if you drag the matter too much, problem, there's control. That's the line. Then he goes and says, you must know how to make at least a prayer for us daily. A woman who prays for you does not have to join you in the kabashi. She might be going to work and just be pleased with you.
Let me take this
and
call.
has blessed you. But you're asking, I must see you in the routine. Take your call.
Ife, thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello. Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning, Ife.
Good morning.
Good morning, Auntie Annie.
Good morning.
Talk about the last issue, please. Can I go on?
Go ahead, please.
I'm the first caller. I've been trying for years.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Please, I don't want us to conclude the last issue the way we did. There is still a way out. Judging from the fact that they have 3 children together, let the woman go to her father, if her father is still alive, her family. Let them sit down and draw a prenuptial agreement for the man, a strict one at that. And they can go on from there. There's a way out, I believe.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's another angle.
Because of the
so
children.
A prenup is great so that whenever you come to America, there's certain things you can't take. You can't take my house, you can't take my cars, you have to be very clear.
That's
a very
unemotional.
Yes.
Out of the box.
Rational.
Yes, very rational.
Yeah.
We were being emotional.
Yeah.
Because like we just said, no, don't marry him.
bring him over.
I think we were being
marry
emotional.
him
We weren't
properly,
being rational.
but it has to be a proper prenup. Fantastic comment, Ife. Thank you very much. So I was going to I want to also take this conversation to one word many Nigerian men have to deal with, or have to, they have to assess when they want to get married. Because many people ask them, are you able to control her? That word control. They say, is she somebody you can control? I remember when I was getting, I think, were we dating or were we married? I can't remember what it was. One guy, I saw my husband went to go and see him in his house. I can never forget that conversation. So he wanted to make a business proposition to me, I think. I was supposed to be the person he wanted to use. But he didn't ask me directly. He went to my husband, can you control her? My My husband was wondering, but they, no, I want to know. She know a car, and you control her. You know, we go trying to find out that because if I give this thing to Morayo, I need to be sure that there's somebody that can control her. And I'm thinking, so I was really irritated because I was like, I was even shocked.
Well, you know,
my husband now said, of course, Enumika, you know. So he now wanted to bring, when he now brought the proposition, I said I wasn't interested even in having anything to do with this person in the first place. Because of what he said, because I just already knew the kind of person he was. So a lot of men are faced with that. Can you control this woman? Marry somebody you can control. They get that a lot. Control.
What is the problem that has led to the masculinity women suffer from? Control. Can you reason with someone you have married? There's no better word for it. So when they use Shenueka, they interpret it to control. Shenueka, meaning she's your wife. Can you talk to her? It's in the Yoruba word, but the available word in English is control, which can be negative.
So they are different. Okay, wait. Okay, that's the point.
You know, when a woman is doing something wrong, the husband is like, no, gives her eye. It's not control. It's just like you
control.
Check her.
No. I think if your husband, if you're doing something and you're outside and you're doing something your husband doesn't like, and he gives you an eye,
it's not control.
It's not control. It's just, you know. But because we have to break that word control down.
Control can be manipulation,
sit down there.
oppression.
Sit.
When you're not a puppet.
And if I say sit, don't stand up.
Don't stand again.
So you must. So that is control. Telling me with your eye, it's not control. It's more like advice.
Because a more controlling person is likely to get up and. So the more control.
Don't make control mean negative all the time. Control just means that.
Morayo,
control can be construed as I'm a leader and I'm insisting on this.
So let me explain something I also learned, you know, with animals and people that raise them. And I've heard that there are people that hurt animals. That there are some people that use the stick all the time, beat them and everything, and they control them. But there are some people that learn to tame them. A different way, in a kinder way. So you show them the path, you show them love. Just from the sound of your voice, they know you can change their behavior. So that control usually is affiliated to people that use it negatively.
It's not affiliated. Who put
that.
Well, because synonymous words to control can be so negative. And we've thrown it generally to boys. We did not think of the damage it does to their psyche and how they view what they control. When I'm not your Malu, you are controlling me. How are you controlling me? You know, in marriage, I had a suitor back then whose word was control, and the control was a problem. I didn't want to be, I cannot be controlled. I'm not a chair you push around. I'm not even your child can't be controlled. You lead. You influence your child. You don't control them. Hey, you cannot marry him. I don't want to see, you cannot go out at 2 o'clock. When you damage the person over time.
Yeah.
But the person that you influence positively, doesn't want to do something. Someone was asking me out.
Control over influence.
I'm telling you, there was a day
influence.
when my father spoke to us. I was 12 then, I can't forget it. And I had a guy in my university diploma days who was asking me out, and he was Christian. I was like, I can't bring this to my father. It will break him. I don't want to hurt him like that. And he was like, so you cannot marry a guy? I cannot. It will break my dad to see. I don't want to hurt him like that. For me, it was about how my actions would affect him. And he was saying, they are controlling. I said, you cannot control. They never born who go control me. And he didn't take it nice. And I just said, the way my father raised us, it's anything that will hurt him.
Yes.
I'll put him in a place of disrespect. He's shown me too much love. I cannot repay him that way. That's how men should see women they marry. Not control. You control a woman to the point when she stands finished, she fights back. Yeah. Is that what you want?
No, but I think you are looking at the word control as a negative word. Because I've looked it up in it. It says the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events.
Yes.
No, it doesn't say, other words, jurisdiction, sway.
Yes, YK, you're right, but we're just saying like in regular speaking, you know, when people say control, they mean that someone that can dominate you. But when somebody says influence, when someone says influence,
what they mean
okay.
by control. Can you dominate her? Are you
the head?
The real head.
But when
not
you are the head in
mosquito
Nigerian
head.
context,
What does
you
that
have to be able to dominate. You are the control. You are the one that reasons. You're supposed to be the one to direct every single thing.
But
wanted to
even that
find-
head, using that head analogy, is that the head rests on something, the neck, and the neck rests on shoulders. You know, we're all integrated in one way. If the head, for some reason, decides to misbehave and the neck says it's tired, the head is no longer a head to anything. So that's how we should look at it in marriage. That even though I'm the head, I depend on everyone else to function properly.
So if we want to go
And
by
I need
YK's definition,
Yeah.
Mariam, so if a man says, I control you,
Can you command her?
we shouldn't make it sound negative then. If it's based on this definition, I just
Yeah.
But we're saying that continuous usage, we know
Contextual
what we
usage.
mean.
Contextual
That is
usage.
control.
Wait now.
It is the word you are looking for.
It's brought into, the meaning from what you are taking is brought into governance, jurisdiction, sway, power, authority, command, dominance.
wait, which definition is that? Control.
Yes, now, Oxford languages. Command, dominance, domination, government, mastery, leadership, rule, reign. Those are the synonymous words that, are linked.
So you are looking
But
at
a
it.
person can use it and mean whatever I say or do.
I know.
And
When
in
I tell
English,
you breathe, you
in
breathe.
Nigerian and in Nigerian English, when someone says
There's a
control,
synonymous
we
word.
know that that person is talking about dominating the person. That person is talking about the one that I can place a leg on your head and you do exactly what I say. Usually when people use control, they don't mean influence you. They don't mean advise or persuade.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah.
Let's unpack control, because a lot of mothers will resist a marriage to another girl, saying, listen, you can't marry her because I don't see you controlling that girl. That girl is going to dominate over you. Because control is a word many Nigerian men feel as if I must be able to control my wife, no matter how educated, exposed she is. It's my job as a husband, and it's my pride. I can't have anybody who's bruising my ego. It's my pride and joy that I can actually control my wife. So are we now saying, based on either your own definition or the synonyms you've chosen to see, your own definition is an influential, it can be influential. You are saying that the synonym is control, command, dominate. These are, so which one do we now go with?
You go with how the person behaves.
How the person behaves. and
Yeah,
what it
so
means.
no matter what the words are used, how the person behaves and how it interprets in how he relates
You know
with
that
you.
if I want to control Morayo, for instance, now I know you're closer to her, I can continue to manipulate you to achieve that control. I know her weaknesses, I know her excesses. Whereas in love, in marriage, you would naturally do to please the other party what you know their love language is. It could be from a place of care. The person does not have to insist. I roll you over, I control you, I tell you what to do. I am the piper paying the puppet. You pays the piper dictates. No,
A
not
woman-
a pay,
A woman
control
who
can
is
be so abusive.
subservient to her man, does that make her a woman
Controlled.
that is controlled?
She's
It
not.
doesn't. So I think we are just, it's a man that is a
It's not
controller.
real.
A man that is
people that want to
a
control.
dominant person. It's his nature.
Yeah.
You can be, you can
Let me take this call back.
take the call.
Ade from London, thanks for calling. You're live.
You just keep me holding.
I'm so sorry.
You have to change, right?
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's YK.
You are controlling.
I wanted to-
Why are you controlling?
I want to support YK. She don't look at control in a negative form. You are a lady in your father's house. Maybe your father is a millionaire. And the way they train you there is different. House boy, house girl serve you. And now married.
Millionaire.
So the husband must control you for the next 1 year or two. That this is how I want it. This is how it should be.
Must he force hardship in
and when
control?
Don't look at it in a negative way. Because he has to control you. Because in your house where you are coming from, houseboy do everything for you. Driver takes you. It is your husband who hasn't even got a car. And you say, okay, let's go to this place. Don't do that. Don't call for taxi. If you know it's controlling, he must control you now. You want a peaceful home. That is why those high-class ladies find it difficult now to get husband. Because guys are afraid that if I marry this one, I won't be able to control her. And they will remain there till 45, 50. And they will be sharing their number in the church. I praise the Lord. So, control, don't
praise the Lord.
Normal. So, I disagree with Lima.
Okay, let's go on a short break. We'll come back. You see, this control matter, we'll discuss when we come back. Stay with us.
It makes
Thanks for staying with us. So, Mr. Ade has helped us have a better perspective to what men believe control means.
Yes.
And because he said, a situation whereby a woman, a girl, has been pampered all her life, her father is a millionaire, she had houseboy, had house girl, had everything. Now come to the house, maybe he's just struggling. He needs to control her to, to cut her to size, to be able to know that, listen, we have to humble beginnings, So,
Thank God Mr. Ade
As
is
he
not
said-
a Muslim. Because in Islam, you're supposed to give a woman a condition she's used to. Grounds for divorce if you force hardship on her. Because they will now come right way or center. I would have loved to ask Mr. Ade a scenario that I knew of several years back. A woman who has a job, but she has married and decided to be submissive to her husband. And the husband asked her to do something not within the home, but that concerns her job. For instance, men will say, you cannot go today, tomorrow. You are the one to compromise. Call your boss. Tell them our child is sick. Call your boss. Tell them my mother is around. Call your boss, you know,
husband.
to the extent that the husband will say, call your boss. It's part of control. Call your boss, or my friend needs help in your office, or he wants to get a loan. Your wife is a bank manager. He doesn't meet the criteria, but she's not a good woman because she does not respect your friendship with your friend to give him loan without collateral. When her job is the consequence of that decision.
Exactly.
We must discuss control. In fact, we not capture control. We must break control beyond that because the abusive control is what we fly around
we
here.
are against now. The abusive control.
No, you are addressing
But
it from how a woman takes
it's
it.
how a woman, so,
My husband can be controlling me, and I will not call it control because it's easy for me to carry out. If he wants me to, for instance, now I've been married to my husband and I love to serve him. I cater to him. I love that. But the moment it's become like your head, no, they correct again. You know, they do the right
for example, let me give you an
It's
example.
abusive.
A woman, she's the PA to maybe a major big guy, one really wealthy, and she's an executive assistant. And her boss has one really expensive LV bag that, that she sees, that she talks about that just her husband. If you see this laptop bag, and the man says, I have an important outing. Please, can you let me borrow your MD's bag?
Okay.
And she says, I know that bag. Please, you have to, just for the weekend. I'll return it on Monday. You're going to work on Monday. Husband, because she's a submissive wife, which is what you said about work, she goes to the office, takes the bag, so her husband can borrow it for that Saturday event.
Let me give you
Now,
one real life story.
a real life story.
Yeah.
So now, he now borrows the bag. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the bag got missing or something stolen. And Monday morning, the man is looking. Unfortunately, CCTV camera has caught her that she took it. Now they put her in jail. And so start being submissive at a job that affects
At her job.
Let me buttress it with a real life.
but that one is
a real life story. So
But he told you to
there's
do
a
it now. You don't get sense now.
There's a
They
particular
must control
company,
you.
they have pool cars, well-known company here in Nigeria, they have pool cars. Their staff are allowed to just use it for work, nothing personal. But this particular lady, the car assigned to her is better than the car that they use at home, than the husband uses. They were to go for an event. And he insisted that they use that car. No matter what she said or explained, he would not have it. They took the car and they met one of her bosses there, and that was the end of her job.
Oh my God.
She had to be submissive. That was
So
it.
women, you must apply wisdom.
So, but you see, in that kind of situation, would you not? You can't tell your husband. I mean, you have to.
But
find
Morayo, that's where we come to the consequence. You have made me lose my
Yeah.
job. Do you think that house will not
Where
be sitting
did
on
you-
a boiling kettle every day? I will not give you peace. The way me I'm wired. You will not sleep and
Some
close
women
eye.
will just go and find that job.
And
Will
no,
accept
what
their
if?
fate.
No, I know someone.
but she won't
I know
even get
someone who
correct
never
CV.
got a job from this kind of consequence. Never. She had to go and start business. Start
And
from
to
scratch.
explain
Till date, she
why
has not broken
why
even.
she lost. Even if she's going to get another job,
It should
she
be
will
at
need
the
a
back of her
referral.
mind.
And they have to explain that.
can't get-
You don't have a
Correct.
police record because you stay
Hey!
you have a police record, that you're in jail.
So the
if
control.
your husband is controlling you to be a thief,
No,
then
you. At that moment,
apart
you're
from
a thief.
that-
Oh.
Shebi that work is not controlled.
no,
Apart
that
from-
is telling you to go and steal. Because
No,
to
borrow,
take something
you're
that
not
is
stealing, if you're borrowing
anything
or
you
something.
take that is not your own is stealing. Then let's not couch it. I want to take
say borrow
Nima's.
it now.
I want to take Nima's. I want
They
to
will say
borrow
borrow.
without telling her.
Yeah.
I go and borrow Nima's 50,000, and I don't tell her. And she finds out that I took the 50,000. I say I just borrowed it. No, it's not borrow. It's stealing.
Relation to steal.
Okay. Let me
The intention
Okay,
is
you want to
not
take a call?
in question. It is the fact that you took something that is not your own.
Yeah.
So it's stealing.
Let me take Fred. Good morning, Fred. Thanks for calling. Hello, Fred. You're live.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
How are you?
Very well.
This is a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you as the managing director of TVC.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Now,
Thank you.
my first as the managing director of entertainment, at what point would you apply the word control in your organization?
At what point?
At what point would you what?
At what point would you apply the
Word control.
Control
You
your
apply the word
organization.
control.
Yes.
I would rather use influence because I'm not working with babies. I'm not working with children. I'm working with adults. So rather to influence people to do their work. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to understand where you're driving this conversation
Trying
at.
to say that you have to control your workers to
I can't control any workers. No manager should control anybody.
Looking at control as a
Leadership-
positive word.
Yes.
No. Well, it depends. We don't know the context in which he's
Yes,
talking about it.
until-
But
But
leadership is about
do the scenarios
influence.
apply to the marriage we're talking
Morayo,
about? Are they
I
not
want to
different?
say that, when we started this conversation, when we said that we understand what it means, control, the word means in the dictionary, but we also understand what it means when it's used here in Nigeria. I don't know how other people use it in countries, but in Nigeria, many times when people use that word control, they mean someone who can dominate you, break you, and
make you
forcefully
do,
fix
bend
you into a box that they, have created for you.
So
and the caller that, called, he just made my point exactly. He talked about a lady who's coming from a place of, wealth and is coming to marry him. And if you love that person, why is your thought about breaking her? Why is your thought about making life even more difficult for her? If that was the case, why didn't you love her and leave her? Because you know that you are not capable of giving her where she's coming from.
What she's
and
used
if,
to.
Yes, what she's used to. And if she has decided to marry you, that means she knows that you are not a billionaire like her father or where she's coming from. She's agreed to marry. She's an adult. She's made that decision. And she knows what she may come to. Yes, she knows what she's coming to meet. Why don't you trust that because she's an adult and she knows the different circumstances, she will adjust in such a way that it is helpful to both of you? Why do you think that it will require her coming to you and then you have to break her into tiny pieces to fit into the mold? So that is why control, as used in Nigeria many times,
has to be put in
just
context.
a red flag for me.
That's you see, it's when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Yes, there is, because okay, I marry a man. Maybe I live in a luxurious house and I fall in love with a man. There are things that he cannot give me, and I'm living in his house. He can't give me 24 hours light in my house. I have 24 hours light. He can't give me 24 hours of TV or something. And then I start saying, no, I'm not used to this sofa. That's
stupid. Because because you already know.
That's stupid, but there are cultures where the
They-
northern
no,
culture,
no,
for
you already
instance,
know
where
that
they
so
know.
what that man was saying is, are you ready to adapt to that man's way of life? Because he cannot afford.
Yeah, he does not need to use
He
control
doesn't need to tell you
for
that.
the adaptation.
Yes.
She's looking at you. She has seen.
She has come
Obviously,
to your
wealth is
level.
even the easiest thing to be able to tell. She can see that these are the things you are unable to afford. And she will decide in her mind, you know what, I know this is who you are, and I'll come, and then we'll work together
Making
to
the
find the way to
sacrifices.
I've
live
heard some
well.
women, Mariam, say that I can only marry somebody who, I can only respect a man who can control me. I can only respect a man who has that authority, because many of all these boys that don't
It depends on how you want to be controlled.
So
No, some people are puppets with rope. Oh. You have to hold them
There's
and
some
control
people
them.
that say they only want to be with men that can beat them.
Yes.
Does not make it
So,
right.
the psychology.
There was this couple that got married. Sorry, Nima. There was this couple that got married. They got married in VI, and the girl's house, she was a high flyer. Her house was in Lekki or VI or somewhere like that. His own house was in Surulere. Their marriage broke up that day. The same day they got married, because the man said, "Follow me to my house," and the girl said, "Ah, no, we are going to."
Why were they making
Why did
home?
they make
Why were
good
they making
discussion?
home prior to wedding?
I don't know where they were.
Yeah,
making
why you gbadun now?
No, that my gist. It was me that gave that gist.
Maybe
Why
not the
Morayo
same
has
person.
another
It was my gist. It was my gist. I gave me that gist like a several on this show.
No, this one. I heard this story
need to
not
put it-
from you.
Wait,
I want to even
wait,
put these
okay,
sacrifices that Mariam was talking about in context. In the north, A girl from a good home, when she's married, go see the bucket of things. The family too will now do wardrobe, bed, everything.
Yes,
so to ease them into the lifestyle their daughter is used to. A man will now say, I've married me, I've married you, finished. I pay for your head. That's where the abuse comes, which is more common here. You will sell out all those things and say, if you must marry me now, sleep on the floor. Because the girl is already married, she can't go back home to have that conversation. She will stay there, but she's broken. And you would rather keep her broken than keep her thriving.
But they'll tell her that's marriage. Right? It's about sacrifice.
It's about sacrifice.
That brokenness you are defining is what people... Listen now. That brokenness you are saying, you always say, that's marriage for you. That's the life of marriage. You have to just... You humble. They'll tell you, that's just whatever he has said. Maybe it's only one bedroom you have. You manage with him. You manage. It's not your father's house. Because we have all advised women. Let's not pretend.
The desire for good life is it lack of submission.
But is that advice always the best advice?
That's what I'm saying. So we need to begin to...
No. There's nothing wrong with
Mm.
compromising.
Yes.
In a healthy relationship. Please, let's not mix it up.
Okay.
No one says marriage is about... the only way to make someone happy is make sure you create a perfect situation for that person.
Perfect.
We know that there are going to be compromises. But remember, we're always talking about intention and how it is carried out. Are you dealing with this person as someone that you love, as a person, as your friend, as your team player? Or are you taking it as a position of, I'm your master and Lord and I'm going to break you? You're a wild horse and I'm going to break you until you're submissive. Or I'm going to learn to, we'll work together. You've had people with different circumstances, background, who work together.
Recently,
where
I had to advise somebody.
Where I have a weakness, your strength will
I had to advise somebody. She'd gotten married to this guy, and he started to be emotionally abusive to her in the house. Like, talk to her anyhow. His kids would talk to her, and she was very subservient. But she had her own. And then he still said during the worst thing, he was talking to his girlfriends on the phone and saying, my wife is fat. And she could hear.
Wow.
And, because you are meant to advise...
Patience.
Be patient.
Marriages.
I advised her like that for 1 month. In the end, I said, you know what? If you are my daughter, let me tell you the truth. I won't advise you like that. I will tell you to get out of that marriage. So now, please, let me just drop all pretense and tell you the truth. That marriage is not for you. By the time he finishes with you, you will be a...
Nobody, you'll be a shadow of yourself.
Because he complained about her business, was doing her business.
Control that as well.
He was...
But you see, Nima, I don't know what to
if you're not confident
that control, that's why I said there's the positive.
There's the extreme negative.
And then there's
because
the
we
negative.
always make
that
marriage
break
look
that
as
Miriam is talking about is the negative.
We always say marriage is illico, like where you like a school. That is, you don't get a certificate, clinical, you get it after, some crap like that. We make it look as if there will be issues. No marriage is perfect, as you've rightly said. So when women find that emotional abuse, they find that dominating husband, they feel like it's my cross to carry. I must understand that I don't have that nice man who will love me and care for me and give me flowers. This is a man that this is his behavior. I have accepted this cross and nobody's marriage is perfect. And they stay there.
And it's not to abuse a certain tribe. Or no, not tribe. There's a state of people that I told myself I would not bother marrying them. Illico thing.
I know that state.
That statement is life. When you grow into adulthood, you leave your parents, your protection, it will teach you, you will learn. When somebody says that thing to you, run. Why am I saying it? When you get there, what you meet is an extreme abuse of patriarchy. We're at a young age of dating then, and a friend of mine was dating such a family. The husband was well-to-do, he protected her, he provided for her. But whenever she goes to Ilé-ẹ̀kọ́ in the family as the Yawole, she's made to trek from here to motorways if they are doing party. Not that they could not have ball in the household, but they will make the women say, hey, look, mommy, and all of them will carry bath. And she will go. But when she gets back to her husband's house, and things will just be so nice and easy, I'll be like, can't he have a ball? Say, no, that's how the mothers wanted to, it's a proof of women. And they'll be like, and why did they say, why you? Why do you no.
Is that a problem?
No.
It's
a problem.
That are women's problem.
It's the women that women.
Because you're not physically married to them.
The way me and
married to your husband when you come back to
my
Lagos.
own auntie approached her in-laws' house the first day of Eid with 2 olokpo. She met all the senior wives. She was married to the last son. She met all the senior wives cooking every year. And she came in and said, it is for us to enjoy. She came with her two olopo. Thank God she did. The tradition changed upon her own. She know they go suffer. But those other women have been made to see that it's illegal, like they cannot enjoy it. Why can't they enjoy it?
So I think when I've heard about this, like culturally, you know, we've always made it to look like if a woman doesn't really suffer, she's not worthy of being a woman. And so when you ask the question that, I will not be hypocritical, because when people go into marriages, we say, you know, you have to make compromises. But you know that we've been having conversations globally, even here at this table, about having to be able to distinguish between abuse and just, you know, life happening to you. So when someone that's why when someone says her husband is abusive, physically abusive, I've ended up in hospital so many times, you're able to say, this is not a compromise we're talking about. This would kill you, you know. So when we discuss marriages, we're not saying it's such a bad place, but we're saying that sometimes it can be abused. Sometimes the situation is abused in such a way to make you suffer when you don't need to suffer. Sometimes just a conversation that would have alleviated a lot of things is not used. Instead, brute force is used. The lady the gospel singer that died, you know, and we had all the abuse that she went through. She may be listening to someone that says, this is how marriage is supposed to be. But if she were listening to people like us, she would hear, this particular one is not what we're asking you to compromise on.
Physical abuse is a no-no.
But emotional abuse is equally bad.
Some people take it.
Emotional is bad, but people don't take emotional abuse as important as...
No, it's very bad, though, because it can even lead to suicide. Look at that poor girl that committed suicide in England. You know, that was pure emotional abuse.
Let's take a few comments on social media so we wrap up. But the truth is that marriages are different, but that word control is something that we really need to... Men need to have a different definition of what control means. It's influence. It shouldn't mean...
It's leadership.
It's leadership, influence, and...
Not brutal force control, wire force. As if she shuts down her reasoning, her capability of thinking, and logic, and critical thinking, and locks it down only for you to... If you marry such a woman, you should even run from such a woman that doesn't have...
Let's wrap up with some comments.
Chokusworth said, personally, I don't have a problem with a list. I mean, do you? But after you make your long list, sit down and take a look at that list and be everything there first. It's that simple. So if you make a list, can you be that kind of person as well? Bilikis Mafe says, you mentioned something really profound. Marriage is considered as an honor for women. This couldn't be more true, particularly in our part of the world. It's the reason an unmarried woman, a divorced or single mother is stigmatized. That's all we have.
What else? That's all? Okay, that's all we can
There are comments. Okay.
You have any? You have to wear your glasses. Sorry, we'll let you.
Sorry.
Anyone?
All right, I'd like to look for
Power
trouble.
without control. This is from Andrew in Chata. Power without control is illegal power. Power with authority is stability with love, care, understanding, etc. Many people, then this is genuine womanhood initiative. Many people project their unwholesome experience that they have not healed. Some envy their spouses that come from richer backgrounds than them. They use the words control to whip them up to shape.
Yeah. All right, that's all we can take. That's all we can take on today's show.
And
a few things. As we have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.